I think it's a non-solution to a non-problem. And I mean that in the sense that automation has been happening since the dawn of time. Man, when electricity came along, that put a lot of people out of work. Did it? Right. A lot of people carrying buckets of water and, lighting lamps and all those kinds of things. And this was the concern with factories as well. Yeah, perhaps everything, literally every single thing that comes, even the printing press. Absolutely. And what it does is it frees people up for new creative work. So the question is not, is automation going to eliminate jobs? There is no finite number of jobs. We're not like sitting around dividing up the same jobs that were around since the Stone Age. So obviously new jobs are being created, and they're usually better jobs, more creative jobs. So the question is, how quickly is this transition going to happen? And what kinds of jobs will be eliminated, and what kinds of jobs will be created? It's impossible looking forward to predict what kinds of jobs will be created. If I told you 10 years ago that podcaster was going to be a job, or that playing video games is going to be a job, or commentating on video games is going to be a job, you would have laughed me out of the room. Those are nonsense jobs, but yet here we are. So society will always create new jobs. Civilization creates new jobs, but it's impossible to predict what those jobs are. So the question is, how quickly is that transition happening? Well, the reality is, even though everybody keeps talking about this automation apocalypse, we're at a record low unemployment. Explain that. Where's the transition? Donald Trump. That's how. All I'm saying is, it's. I don't see it in the numbers. I don't see it actually happening. The question is, how quickly can you retrain people? So it's an education problem. The problem in UBI. There's a couple of problems with UBI. One is you're creating a slippery slide transfer straight into socialism. Right. The moment people can start voting themselves money, combined with a democracy, right, it's just a matter of time before the bottom 51 votes themselves everything in the top 49. Yeah, and it's just and by the way, slippery slope fallacy is not a fallacy. I know people like saying that, but they haven't thought it through. But the moment you start having a direct transfer mechanism like that in a democracy, you're basically doing it with capitalism, which is the engine of economic growth. You're also forcing the entrepreneurs out or telling them not to come here. The estimate I saw for $15K a year basic income for everybody would be 3/4 of current GDP. And of course, GDP was shrinking for sponsors, all the entrepreneurs fled. So you would essentially bankrupt the country. Another issue with UBI is that people who are down in their luck, they're not looking for handouts. It's not just about money. It's also about status. It's about meaning. And the moment I start giving money to you and put you on the dole, I've lowered your status. I've made you a second-class citizen. So I have to give you meaning, and meaning comes through education and capability. You have to teach a man to fish, not to basically throw your rotting leftover carcasses at him and say, here, eat the scraps. So it doesn't solve the meaning problem. And lastly, it's nonsense to hand 15K out to everybody. You want to means test people. There's no reason to give it to you and me. So you end up back towards the welfare system, where you do have to figure out who needs it and who doesn't. So I think the better route is that we actually establish a set of basic subsistence services that you have to have. And we provide those in abundance through technology-based automation. So get basic housing, get basic food, get basic transportation, get high-speed internet access, get a phone in your pocket. Those are the kinds of things you want to give people. And finally, in terms of the rate of automation, I think we can educate people very quickly. One of the myths that we have today is that adults can't be re-educated. We view education as this thing where you go to school, you come out when you're out of college and you're done. No more education. Well, that's wrong. You have all these great online boot camps and coding schools coming up. They're ones that'll even pay you to go there now. You can educate people en masse, and you can educate them into creative professions. People who are talking about AI automating programming have never really written serious code. Coding is thinking. It's automatic structured thinking. An AI that can program as well or better than humans is an AI that just took over the world. That's endgame. And that's the end of the human species. And I can give you arguments why I don't think that's coming either. People who are thinking, and I know I take the opposite side from some very famous people in this debate, but we're nowhere near close to general AI. Not in our lifetimes. You don't have to worry about it.